Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Studio 700 at Revitalize Life Fitness and Life Coaching. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the body, the energy, and success you deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
Here, coming to you live. It is Monday morning, and we have been talking about stress. And that stress has been issue all the way around. And we have this, it's been for years and years and years. We have had folks with stress. And, on a morning like this, I'm coming to you with some personal discussion on this and some training about what the next level of stress and what happens and what really goes on with your immune system with this stress thing that we really want to avoid so much. Now, we've reviewed and gone over what causes stress, how to avoid stress or, reduce the stress in our lives or reduce the effects of stress in our lives. But sometimes you're tooling along and you've got one of those great days and an outside factor comes along and smacks you sideways. And you go, what just happened here? What is going on? Where did this come from? And you blow up, you get mad, you get stressed, you get, and you feel like when it's over with that your body's just sucked dry. So the question is, can stress actually make you sick? The answer is absolutely. Stress is a huge contributor to illnesses, short-term and chronic. I mean, there's research all over the place, but let's face it, we don't really need to go study every medical journal and every single post that there is out there on stress. Frankly, guys, we can look into our own lives and our own experiences and see where stress has affected us so greatly. So I'm going to get down to some science real quick about the immune system, and then I'm going to give you a little background because I've got a personal story for you to talk about this stress and how it does affect your body. The lymphocytes that are your immune system, those are the white cells. Those are destroyed and damaged and weakened when you're in an excess stressful state. So these cells come in two forms. The B cells are the ones that are like the guardians on the outside of your cells. They're the ones floating around in your lymphatic system and that are keeping the bacteria, virus, etc. away from your cells themselves. They're attacking it before it gets in the cell. The T cells are the ones that are inside of your cells that protect once the cellular level has been penetrated by those, outside factors, your bacterias, whatever your pathogens are that are getting in there. The T cells, if they make it into the cells, those are the ones that go to work. Well, these cells get their butts kicked when your stress level goes up, your cortisol goes up, and this damages the entire immune system in the way it communicates, it mobilizes these cells and literally kills these cells off, through many different avenues, whether that's excess acid, whether it's disrupting the digestive system, it damages your immune system. So the production of cortisol and the negative anti-stress reduction, etc., such as smoking, drinking, excess eating, not sleeping, being anxious and angry. These things combined with the cortisol and combined with the weakened immune system are going to make that 10 times as damaging to you. So keep that in mind that when you get stressed out and you reach for a cigarette or a cup of sugary coffee or a sugary snack or overeat fried chicken or pizza or go get drunk, you're actually kicking your immune system worse in the gut right there than you were before. So did you ever notice that there's a time when you want to deal with stress, and stress comes at you and you push through and you don't deal with it and you don't do anything to reduce it or counteract it. And you never have time to stop, take a breath, meditate, pray, relax, go for a walk, take a break. But man, there's time to lay in bed with a thermometer stuck in your mouth or your ear, and you got crap coming out of your body, or you're in the hospital and your arteries are clogging up, or something like that, or you have a nervous breakdown. There's always time to recover once you're sick. Sometimes you have to make time for that. Why don't we make time up front to reduce and to counteract the stress in the first place so that you don't wind up sick? So stress increases your heart rate, increases your blood pressure, increases your cholesterol. So what do you think that does there? What do you really think that does as far as your cardiovascular health? That can lead to cardiac heart or coronary heart disease, strokes, dementia, all that kind of stuff because of stress right there. So stress also increases your cortisol. Cortisol is directly related to belly fat gain. Cortisol is directly related to fatigue and a lot of other things. And again, reducing the lymphocytes that are in your system to fight off the toxins, the diseases, the bacteria, etc. So you see where I'm going here. Now, stress tends to hit you in the gut. It tends to kill off your good gut flora. It tends to let stuff flow in and out that doesn't in that leaky gut scenario that they talk about. And these are things that really, really do damage to the body. And stress is a main contributor. Now, stress doesn't necessarily in itself create the problems. It's what gets released in your body or some of the behaviors that you do along with stress that really create the problems. Just that the stress itself does not have the same effect on everybody, if you know what I mean. Did you ever notice all hell can be breaking loose and there's one person that's just got it and they got it under control, and another person gets, freaked out because somebody forgot to put something in their drive-through order and they actually got to get out of the car and walk in and get it fixed. And they're screaming and yelling at the poor high school kid working behind the counter that's going, "Hey, sorry, man." And they're like, "You ruined my day. I want to see a manager." Really? Is that really worth the stress? When another person can come upon a major auto accident situation, jump out, help people, and coordinate and save lives, and not even have the same negative effect. Now, is that person still going to have some effects of stress? Yes, in a situation like that, as we see with a lot of our first responders and a lot of illness and things that hit them are directly stress related. So, you think that a lot of our officers and firefighters are in really good shape, and yet they have a lot of cardiac issues later into life, sometimes younger than people that aren't in the same shape, at least the shape they're supposed to be in. So that has a lot to do with, the shift work of a firefighter, and that at any second the bell can go and you got to jump out of bed and run, or, an officer gets a call in that anticipation, not knowing what's coming up. There's a lot of cortisol release. There's a lot of elevated blood pressure. There's tends to be a lot of negative stress relievers that tend to get into that type of lifestyle. So how can you combat stress up front? Number one, something, boom, shit happens and you go, "Oh my God, I can't effing believe it." And you want to yell and scream. How about walking away for a second? Taking a breath and realizing one general rule in this world is when something happens, it Excuse me. And this is where I'm going to come into my personal story in a second here. Usually, if it looks a lot worse than it is, somebody did something to you, said something, there was something damaged, something occurred that you didn't expect, and you didn't expect to deal with that today. Almost always is the reality better than it initially looked. In most cases, yes, if you could just take a second and go, what does this really mean? What just really happened? What is it going to take to get through this? How am I going to deal with this person, as opposed to that knee-jerk reaction to go boom and explode and get really mad, or to get really upset or really scared. What if it's like, hey, there's concern here. We got to figure this out. But you know what? I'm going to breathe for a second. I'll be right back when I wrap my head around what just happened. So your initial perception is generally a lot worse than the actual. Not always, but usually. So ask yourself the question when something happens. Will this matter today? Probably. Is it going to matter tomorrow? Very possibly. Is it going to matter next week? Maybe by next week it's pretty much handled. Next month, will I even effing remember it next year? And will it have that same impact next year? Will it be something we look back on and laugh? Well, I'm of this belief that if you're going to look back and laugh at something, why not laugh at it now and just deal with it, right? So if it's something you're dealing with somebody else, why not take the second to go, what is their motive here? You might think this mother is, really screwing me over, when it is a miscommunication, or their intent was not that at all. Or if you dug deeper in, you would get it to figure it all out. So here we go with I'm going to final out this morning with a quick story. Last week, Thursday morning, I get up, having the best day ever. Stuff is going smooth. Everything's looking good. We got a great auction plan for that night. The responses on the email, everything is just whammo, primo, above average. It's going to be a great day. We have an incident, and I'm not going to go into total descriptive of it, just because we don't have to, but it was something where I personally have not lost my temper and gotten angry and yelled and screamed and, threw a hissy fit with everybody in a long time. I don't really subscribe to doing that a lot. I might be a little snide or a little snippy if, things are slow or people aren't, following through with their responsibilities. I'll make a little comment to kind of light that up. But I haven't blown up. Well, I blew up because the situation was very costly and damaging. And I was like, oh my God, you've got to be effing kidding me. This did not just happen. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, I feel like my entire body inside is burned within 5 minutes after that. So, and you get that squinty, icky feeling, and your head's pounding. And I'm like, oh crap. You know what this means? A lot of times that means I know my immune system's down. So, think I skirt that. Everything calms down. Okay, we're fixing the situation. It's probably not as bad as initially found. So I'm like, okay. Next day I'm like, whew, I think I skirted that morning after temper flu. So not a big deal. And I'm like, ooh, eye hurts a little bit. Bam. One time in my life I've had a sty. Bam. I have a sty. Well, I didn't know what it was at the time, but ended up just getting it looked at. It's just a sty. It's very painful. But, I looked it up to see, what can I do about this? Because I forgot, it's been so long since I ever had one of those. I looked it up, and, everywhere I look, stress is a major contributor. Bum, bum, bum. And I'm like, okay. So another day goes by, some other stressful things happen. Already tired, already exhausted. Again, I get in a type of mood, where it's, disagreement and arguing and everybody's, on edge. And sure enough, got cat scratch fever in the throat. Now, is it bad? Not horribly, because I'm going to go get drunk because I'm stressed out. I don't smoke because I'm stressed out. And I really didn't eat bad. And I made some of my magic bullet juice and, fasted for a day and was really clean. But you know what? I am paying the price on this Monday morning for we can't stop what happened. I mean, and it's not the end of the world. I'm not saying, oh my God, it was life threatening or anything, but a careless mistake costs a lot of damage. So that's really what it was. Careless mistake costs a lot of damage. Now, how do we fix it? Instead, it was this big effing deal, and I had to, let everybody know how I felt about it. Blah, 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 blah. Turned into an absolute bear. But guess what? I'm paying the price for it today. I got a little scratch. I got this bumpy thing on my eye that's a pain in the butt. And I'm going, oh, yeah, it's so funny. We've been doing the segments on stress, and I need to share this with you guys because I am not immune to stress. Nobody is. But the reality is, it's not worth it. It is not worth it to get all upset and all spiraled into that scenario and get all uptight and freaked out because you get sick, whether it's short term, a little bit of a scratchy throat and some other stuff, or whether it's long term where it's destroying your cardiovascular, or your brain, or your kidneys, your anything you can think of. It eats away at it. Stress is a killer, guys. So what I really want to encourage you to do at the end of this. We're never going to eliminate stress. We are going to occasionally make poor choices on stress reduction or in stress relief. Hopefully, we're making a lot better choices through this series. But what are the biggest ways you can conquer the occurrences of stress? That is by setting up your environment and your routines to win. If you are set up to win, if on Sunday evening you get meal preps and stuff like that, and everything ready for Monday morning, so when you get up it's like clockwork. You're on key. You do your morning motivation, whatever that is, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, priming. Definitely be grateful and planning and being ready for your week, your day, and everything else. Guess what? Your stress level is going to come down. When something comes at you and the stress level starts to rise, this is going to come over and go, we've got this. We are prepared for this. Oh my God, this is going to take an extra hour. Oh my God, we got a problem with the computer. Oh my God. Okay, well, we have set it up so that we have that float hour during the day to deal with that stuff. And you go, oh, okay, it's already built in. So set your environment up to win. Set your mind up to win. Ask the question, what is the real meaning of this when a stressful situation comes up? And set your routine to win. Because let me tell you guys, it's not worth feeling substandard, or worse, having a major disease pop up and bite you in the ass, to be that type A, stressed out all the time personality. And I am absolutely type A. And learning to focus that into high energy and productiveness and creativeness rather than being anxious, uptight, and stressed out all the time. Does not mean you go kumbaya, la la la, life is good. If you want to be a monk, that's okay. Let me tell you, life is not always going to be pristine. Life is not going to always be easy. If you drive on a major interstate, you're not always going to be on time, and you're not always in control of what comes at you. So, what are you in control of? The meaning you give it, how you respond to it, and what you do with your body to offset the stresses that you cannot control. Are you with me on this? Let me know this has been useful to you guys. I got a second for a call in here. If anybody wants to call in, has a specific question, comment, 321-972-3295, 321-972-3295. We'll be on the air just for another minute or so if you want to call in, you need anything on that. On the great note here is stress is always going to be there. Stress is always going to come at you, but you are in control of how you process it, deal with it, and the questions that you ask. If there's no other part of these series that you really grasp and you get nothing else out of all these except for some stress management and some stress reduction tools and stress prevention, let's face it, if you only get those, imagine if you implement them, how much better life will be. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Live with energy, passion, always live your dreams. And always remember, if you are down and you're beat down from stress and you just like, I've already pushed beyond it, clean up your diet, clean up your thinking, clean up your environment, and learn from what put you there in the first place. Because you can recover from it. You just need to take the steps, and then you need to take the steps to prevent it next time. Have an awesome day, guys. See you soon.